Welcome back to another episode of Andy's House of Gears, and I'm working on the front end of the Buick here again. I got some stuff going on, and I need to get this thing so it can roll. So what I got here is I got myself a set of new rotors. I had extras from the original ones that were in the car, and then some of the Pontiac ones. I took them downtown, and nobody could turn them. And there wasn't much left to turn out of them anyway. So I just went ahead, bought some new rotors here. I'm going to be using the original bearings. I have them soaking in some solvent here in this mason jar. I got new seals for the back of the rotor. Those go back in here like so. So first thing I'm going to do is grab my bearings out here. Let me see. So I grabbed my bearings out of the solvent here. Had to get some pliers. Can't fit my hand down in the jar. So let's see if I can get them. There they are. Looking really good. I got lucky on the Pontiac. That thing had great grease and everything in them. Somebody had done a good job at packing those bearings and making sure they were all good. So I'm reusing those bearings. So got those out of there. We'll put this aside. I'll use this for other stuff. So what I'm now doing is I'm just getting any residual grease that might be in there. They look really good. I don't even think I'm going to blow these out with air or anything. They're looking really nice. See right here? Bearings look really good. So swipe these out. The bigger bearings here with the metal race or outer metal cage, those are the inner bearings, and then the plastic cage ones go on the outer part of the rotor there. So just kind of clean these up. It's been really nice. So I'm going to show you an old school way of packing bearings. I used to have like a snap-on bearing press for packing bearings, but it disappeared years ago. I don't know if I lost it or somebody stole it at one of the shops I used to work at or whatever. Who knows? Maybe my dad has it or my brother, but it's gone. So I prefer this way anyway. So what I'm going to do, I got the bearing cleaned up pretty good here. As you can see, what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to grab a glob of grease. I'm literally going to do this in my hand. Got my grease here, like so. What I'm going to do is stick my knuckle inside the bearing, like so. I'm just going to squish that grease in there until it starts. I don't know if you can see that or not. Here, I'm just going to stick it in my hand here, I guess. Just going to take it. And see how the grease right here on that between the race is starting to pop out. So I'm just going to keep working it. See that grease starting to squidge out of there? That's what you want. And you can see a little bit of the old grease there. It's not bad at all. Just going to keep packing it there, like so. If I would have had rubber gloves, I would have used them, but my wife used them all the other day, and I keep forgetting to buy more. There's a good look at it. See how you can see it's squishing out right there? That's a good one. So that's all I'm going to do here. Just keep going like that. And I'm just scraping on the back here in between the big inner race and the outer cage. Get into those bearings. And you can kind of see right there some of the old grease there. It's not a big deal. So this one's all done. You don't need all this grease on here, so I'm going to take some of this off. Set this one aside. I'll do the next one. I'll show you one of the smaller ones too. So I'm just going to take grease in my hand here. I don't know if you can see here. Just going to scrape it down here. Need a little more grease. Let's see. It's starting to come out right there. That's what you want. So. Keep doing that. Preferably you want to do this with a glove. That's for sure. But we're getting it done today. I don't know if you can see right here. Right in there, those little bubbles. That's where the grease is coming through these bearings here and coming out in between the cage. So that's what you want. This grease is actually cleaning my hands a little bit. So that's how you do it. I'll put the seals in the rotors. I'll just show you how to do that real quick. Super easy. And throw them on the car. Simple steps. This is basic stuff, but I figured I'd show it since I'm doing it. So that's what I'm doing. So the next thing I got to do here is I'm just going to grab my inner bearing, drop it inside the rotor here. Just like that. Let's grab my new seal, put it on here. Just going to tap it on. That one looks good. Let's go with this one. Nice and flush, and I'll show you what it looks like on the rotor. All right, take a peek here. Nice and flush all the way around. Bearing's just sitting in there on both of them here. So, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to throw some grease on the spindle. Alright, so I'm down here on my spindle. Just going to throw a little grease on here. Nothing too crazy. Maybe a little more. So I got my spindle all greased up here. I'm going to go grab my rotor assembly, just slide it on. Rotor just slides on just like that. Go grab the outer bearing. Outer bearing just slides right in here, just like that. Now I gotta go find my outer washer. Alright, so I got my little lock washer here. It only goes on one way. It's got a little keyway here. It's flat on this side. So, you gotta just find the keyway here. Slide it on there. Grab my castle nut. They call it a castle because it looks like the top of a castle. They got those little guard watch area things. So, anyway, screw that on there. And I'm just using an adjustable wrench here. You do not want to over tighten these. You'll put too much pressure on the bearings. So, and no, I did not clean off these rotors. I'll spray them down later with some brake clean. Usually I like washing them in just like dish soap and water, but I'll do that later. I'm just getting these on. So, I like to spin the rotor around a few times, maybe snug it up. Feel that grease in there working. And I'm looking, see where my keyway fits here. And it looks like where it's at right now, it's just about perfect. So I'm just going to slide my cotter key in here. Put it in there. And bend this bad boy over, just like so. Just bent it over, locked it in. There's a couple ways you could do it. You could bend it over this way or this way. I like to bend it over the top. So I cut the back side off a little bit short and then bend that little bit over. So it's got a little tail on that side, but I leave a big tail on the front and bend it over the front. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little extra grease inside the dust cover here and just tap that on. I mean, little bit of grease. Grab my hammer to tap this on. Tap it all the way around. Nice and flush all the way around. Looks good. So that's all that is to that. Now I'm just going to hang the caliper on here with the pads. I'm not running any brake lines or nothing yet, but I want to get the car down on the ground. I want to see how close the oil pan is to the ground because I got about 1.5 inches lower spring on the front of this now, so that pan might be like really close to the ground. So we're going to see. So I got my pads in here, and all I got to do now is slide it over the caliper over top of the rotor here. Theoretically, there we go, just like that. Now I got to get a little bushing spacer back here off of one of the old calipers. So this little bushing is what I needed. Just goes into the caliper there. It sits in like a rubber washer. Goes in there. Just gonna push that in there, like so. Now these brake pins, they just go in the back. Screw in. They should go all the way through, theoretically. There's that one. Oh, that's in too far. Just like that. Should show you here. I don't know if you can see that or not. The pin goes through all the way here. That's going to pop out right here. So all I'm going to do now is it gets tightened down with this Allen style bolt, and it just holds it in right here. Oh, come on. So that's all it is to it. There is to it. Pretty simple. I've had some issues with it though, just because I'm swapping around parts, using old parts. The first two calipers I used wouldn't compress at all, and then some little other issues I was having, but nothing too terrible. But I'll get this tightened up, and that'll be a wrap. Well, this is kind of the moment of truth. I'm going to let it down on this own wheels. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it does have a nice rake to it. Just a few degrees of rake. I think I'm going to leave it like that. I think it looks pretty good. Let me see if we can get a better angle on it. I know the pillars are in the way. That's how she looks right now. So, I think it looks really nice. Let's go take a look at that oil pan. Oh, there's quite a bit of clearance. I mean, it's not great, but there is clearance. So, I've seen lower. So, As long as I'm not doing like crazy wheelies or something and maxing out my suspension, I think I'll be all right. It'd have to be something crazy to hit that right there. So I think I'm going to stick with that. I'm happy. So that's a wrap for today. Just getting those brakes on there so I can get this thing to roll around. Pretty simple. It did give me a little bit of trouble, but it's an old car and whatever. So I'm just kind of going with it. Nothing too crazy. But I'm going to flip you around here, give you a good look at her one last time. Please like, subscribe to the channel, share with your friends if you have a friend that might like this kind of content. And we keep doing this. So just kind of doing it for fun. But I'll give you one last shot of her, and we'll call it a day. We'll see you next time. I really wish this pole wasn't in the way. You can get a good look here. But that rake is just sexy. Real sexy. So I think with some decent sized meats on the back of here, it's going to look really nice. So there she is. We'll catch you next time.